No one expected this. Not like this. With just days to go before the first preseason tests in Barcelona, the entire Formula One paddock is holding its breath. Private garages are locked tight. Team principals are avoiding the cameras. And rumors are spreading like wildfire. Everyone's asking the same question. What's really happening behind those closed doors? This isn't just another technical shakeup. This is Formula One's version of a controlled detonation. The kind the sport plans years in advance, but still can't contain once it actually begins. The 2026 regulations are now fully locked in. And with them comes a reality that most teams underestimated. Radical changes to engine architecture, aerodynamic concepts turned upside down, and a hybrid system that, for the first time, demands absolute harmony between combustion and electricity without compromise. Every department is under pressure. Engineers aren't just designing a car. They're trying to rewire how a Formula One machine behaves. How it delivers power, how it stores energy, how it breathes on a straight, and how it doesn't overheat after 3 laps in traffic. And that's where things start getting uncomfortable. Because teams like Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari, they've built dynasties around control, around reliability, around knowing exactly how their systems behave in every condition. But now, even they're guessing. The MGUK is no longer a supporting actor. It's the lead, delivering 3 times more energy than before, in real time. And it's exposing weaknesses in software, cooling, and packaging that weren't problems last year, but are now existential threats. And the most ironic part? The smaller teams, Williams, Haas, even Sauber, they're not as far behind as usual. Because when everyone resets, chaos becomes the great equalizer. The gap is closing. Not because the underdogs have caught up, but because the frontrunners are stumbling faster than anyone expected. And that's why, behind closed doors, this isn't being treated like a new season. It's being treated like a survival test. It started quietly. A delay here, a missed simulation deadline there. But inside the factories, behind locked server rooms, the tone shifted. At Mercedes, a source close to the power unit department described the current state as barely stable. Cooling issues during long runs, battery performance falling short of expected values, and a hardware-software mismatch that's forcing them to rework systems they thought were final months ago. Red Bull isn't immune either. Yes, they have the most complete package from 2023, but their new in-house engine, developed with Ford, is facing teething problems that go beyond integration. Vibrations during dyno testing, unexpected deployment surges under braking, and silent questions about whether the energy store architecture can withstand full race cycles without thermal degradation. And while no one is panicking publicly, behind the scenes, the tone is different. One senior engineer, who's worked across 3 teams, put it bluntly: "We've never gone into a season with this little certainty. And the closer we get to track testing, the louder the quiet panic becomes. Because this time, it's not just about who's fastest. It's about who can actually finish a race distance, without triggering a systems failure. Or worse, without being forced to expose just how unstable their architecture really is." What we're seeing now are the first signs of fracture. Not in lap time, but in confidence. And in Formula One, once that cracks, the rest follows. This isn't just about engine failures. It's about what those failures are beginning to uncover. Because when systems don't work, especially new systems, people start asking questions. Not just inside teams, but between them. Whispers are circulating that the FIA may have underestimated the complexity of the new 2026 regulations. Several teams believe the rulebook was written too quickly, with too many compromises to keep certain manufacturers happy. Some suggest that Ferrari pushed for a particular energy distribution model, one that favors their ERS design philosophy. Others say Mercedes lobbied for a battery allocation cap that penalizes heavier, torque-driven units like the one Cadillac is developing. And now, as problems begin to mount, each team is quietly asking the same thing: who is this really meant to benefit? Because it's becoming clear that some power units are adapting, while others are falling apart. And that kind of imbalance, before a single race has even started, smells less like competition and more like politics. In internal meetings, technical directors are beginning to push back. Some are calling for clarifications. Others want revisions. And a few, the ones with the most to lose, are already questioning whether the FIA has the capacity to enforce a fair interpretation of these new rules. The problem isn't just the engines. It's trust. And right now, that trust is breaking faster than the hardware. No one is saying it publicly, but inside the paddock, everyone knows something's wrong. And it's not just the technical issues. It's the way they're being handled. Teams are reporting problems they don't fully understand. Energy units behaving differently in simulation than they do on the test bench. Power delivery that looks clean on paper, but unpredictable on throttle. And worse, a growing sense that even the FIA can't explain where the line is between legal and illegal optimization. The technical directives, the ones meant to guide this transition, are vague, open to interpretation. Some would say, deliberately so. Because when you rewrite the engine rules from the ground up, you don't just create innovation, you create loopholes. And right now, nobody's quite sure who's already exploiting them. There are teams that haven't spoken to the press in weeks, engine suppliers who've cancelled internal media days, and whispers, quiet, cautious, suggesting that one major constructor has discovered an advantage it's not ready to disclose. Why? Because if they do, the FIA might close it, and if they don't, they risk it being uncovered by another team, already pushing the same limit from the opposite direction. This is no longer about performance. It's about survival. And when survival is at stake, truth becomes dangerous. So the silence? That's not confusion. It's protection. Teams are locking down information, not because they have nothing to say, but because they've seen enough to realize that saying anything might bring down more than just a regulation. The 2026 season was supposed to bring balance, a reset, a chance for teams to start fresh, with a new formula that promised closer racing, energy equality, and fewer dominant dynasties. But that's not what's taking shape. What we're seeing, behind the locked doors and silent press rooms, is something far more chaotic. A future where performance won't be defined by who builds the fastest car, but by who adapts quickest to the flaws in a system that was never ready. Already, mid-level teams are split. Some, like Alpine, are doubling down on in-house development, hoping to control every variable. Others, like Haas, are waiting, quietly, for a clearer picture, afraid to spend resources on tech that might be outlawed within weeks. And then there's the top. Red Bull knows it's not just about defending a title. It's about proving that the Red Bull Ford project can survive in an era where software might matter more than suspension geometry, where the car's brain is more valuable than its wings. Mercedes is in the opposite corner, still adapting to new leadership, still questioning whether their engine philosophy can translate into this new 50-50 power split. And Ferrari? Whispers suggest they're more focused on control than innovation, trying to dictate the narrative from behind the curtain, but falling behind on actual track performance. This isn't a new era. Not yet. It's a power vacuum. And in that vacuum, the usual rules no longer apply. Because if the FIA can't enforce consistency, and the teams can't trust each other, then it's no longer about fairness. It's about strategy, exploitation, and who's bold enough to bet everything on a system that may not last the full season intact. And that's why they're panicking. Not because they've failed, but because they don't know what success will even look like in the world that's forming around them. So here we are, just weeks away from preseason testing, and Formula One is already showing signs of internal collapse. Not from the outside, not from fan backlash or commercial pressure, but from within. Because what was supposed to be a controlled evolution has begun to fracture the foundations beneath the surface. The teams? They don't trust the rulebook. The suppliers? They're protecting advantages no one's supposed to have. And the FIA? They're trying to hold together a system they may no longer fully understand. Everyone's watching, but no one is speaking. And the panic? It's not about performance anymore. It's about direction. Who's leading this reset? Who's enforcing consistency? And if no one is, then what happens when the first car fails to finish a race due to an approved system behaving unpredictably? What happens when the first protest is filed? What happens when a team crosses the line that was never properly drawn? This isn't just a technical story now. It's political. It's structural. And it's only getting more dangerous. Because this era was meant to unify the grid, to level the field, to bring clarity. But it's doing the opposite. And if this instability continues, if the panic we're hearing now turns into open confrontation on track, then 2026 may not be the beginning of a new chapter. It might be the end of the one we thought we were in.